Fresh out the pen, we standing dead off in a blaze with a fifth for Remy pulling a pin out my grenade. Get paid. What up, y'all? This will start become like a habit, right? Maybe I'll start all my full episodes with some of my favorite classics, whether they be albums or mixtapes. I mean, I showed y'all the vinyl, but for those that don't know, that's Pastor Troy, This the City. One of my favorite tracks from him. That's gym music right there, times 10. I'll tell y'all a quick story, man. So here I am, this New Yorker. I land in the South for college. Man, I feel like it was within like the first 2 weeks, we hit this club called Studio Central in Atlanta. This is where I really started to see the energy and the difference of the culture and the people and the vibe from all the way up north. I'm born and raised in New York. And we get to Studio Central and this song comes on. This guy with this raspy, energetic, adrenaline-filled voice. You know, it's this beat drops. Doom, doom. Some of y'all know where I'm going. And I'm watching the dance floor and I'm just, you ever see a mosh pit form? I know a lot of people that go to some of these festival concerts and all that type of stuff. That's like second nature to them. I'm talking, for me, this is back in the day. You know what I'm saying? I'm an old guy. This is back in the day. And I'm watching this mosh pit form. And you got all these dudes in the middle, and even the women, they in there throwing elbows and pushing and all this. I've never seen mosh pits done in a black club or by black people before. I'm just keeping it 1,000. I've never seen that before. Like my previous perception of mosh pits was like a rock and roll thing or like a heavy metal thing, you know, in that genre of music. This is my first time seeing hundreds of black dudes and black women mosh pit and throwing. And I'm this New Yorker. I come from a place where bumping into somebody on the train, stepping on somebody's sneakers in the club, staring at somebody for too long or whatever, that's an issue. It's like that Southern hospitality. When I got to the South for college, it was just like, yo, this is different. Strangers are saying hello to you and all that. But back to this club, this mosh pit is just going crazy. And I'm watching people push each other and elbow each other. And I'm just like, that's wild. This is like right before the South, as far as hip hop exploded. And at that point, when hip hop in the South got a little bit more commercial success, like once again, the Little Johns of the world and all that started to blow up, they kind of let y'all understand the vibe and the energy that happens in the South and the throwing the bowls and all that type of stuff. The Ludacris, like these real commercially successful artists that came on the scene and told the rest of the world what it's like in the South from a rap standpoint, from a clubbing standpoint, from a partying standpoint. When I saw that for the first time in person, it took me back. You know what I'm saying? But you're drawn into it because it's just energy. Like hip hop culture is still that type of energy that can draw you in. It becomes a part of your soul. So for me, even though I'm growing up, I'm born and raised in New York, and that's really my vibe. That's really my energy. That's really my background when it comes to hip hop music. I took to the Southern energy as far as hip hop, like in a split second, because that energy and that adrenaline rush of it is just like, yo, this shit is dope. The energy is wild. And that song happened to be Pastor Troy, No More Playing GA. And that's what turned me on to Troy. And I was just like, yo, who the hell is this guy? So I remember I went to Western Mall, bought his album, No More Playing GA. You know how that song starts? And that classic intro to such a classic track. Yeah. Can I speak to P? P ain't here. And that beat drops. And it's like, yo, if you don't got that type of energy or presence, guy or girl, get off the dance floor. As soon as you even hear the beat drop or the intro to that song, when that song was really, really live, yo, that was crazy. When that whole wave that Troy came out with, you had to be there to understand it, how big he was in the South. He was a real, real big deal in the South. And it's just dope. You know, those are the type of experiences. It's like going to concerts and being a part of certain energies when they're actually rolling out. I have another example of that. It's like, and this is just kind of leaning towards my advice of being worldly and traveling and going to different places. It was just such a dope time. I was in Paris at the same time when Niggas in Paris was the biggest song on the charts. When that single was fresh and it was brand new and it was out and Kanye and Jay-Z was just killing Watch the Throne and all that, I was in Paris and we went to this club and we was begging the DJ all night. Like, we New Yorkers. You know what I'm saying? Jay-Z is one of our idols as a fellow New Yorker. We're in Paris. You know what I'm saying? And of course, we playing on it like a clique of black dudes or whatever. We niggas in Paris, whatever. And we in the club, he's begging the DJ to put that shit on. And when he put that shit on, it just felt different. It hit different. Experiences like that is just dope. You know what I'm saying? When you're a music head like me, whether you on the dance floor for the first time that you hear No More playing GA in Atlanta, and that song is actually hot in the South. It's a brand new guy that's on the scene named Pastor Troy that's going at No Limit and Master P, or whether you in Paris when the single's at the top of the charts, niggas in Paris. It's little experiences like that that you cherish. And man, like part of that, it could be traveling. I could have a whole topic right now just on what traveling does to people, how it opens up your mind, how it shows you new things. I was just having this conversation with my brother just yesterday. I feel like traveling really, really matures you. There was a time in my life where every summer I had to be in Miami for Memorial Day weekend. I had to be there. And then my boy Reem, he's the first guy I was just like, nah, get that passport, man. Like, we going to DR. And that was my first trip out the country to DR. And I remember when I was there, just seeing the different culture, you know, being around people that don't talk English like that, and seeing a different way of living. We took this 4-wheeler excursion. And I remember when we was renting them, the guys was like, you know, there's this little store over here. You could buy candy and potato chips and all that type of stuff. Trust me, buy that stuff to give it out. I didn't know what the hell he was on. I was like, what? Give it out? Like, what is it? What do you think this is? Man, we was out there on the road, like going through these villages, and you see all the kids running up to the 4-wheelers, like looking for dollars and money and candy and little stuff, like stuff that we take as being so minute, things that we overlook, things that come like this to us, like a bag of chips or a piece of bubble gum. To see these kids chasing us down these roads looking for handouts and stuff, it's like the learning experience of other cultures and other places of the world. And from there, man, I just couldn't turn back. Like, I just always wanted to take at least minimum one trip out the country per year. You know, I'm on my second passport now, and I still have a lot of places to go to. There's a lot of places that I feel like I need to get there before I start to get too old to fully enjoy them. You know what I'm saying? Because there's just certain places where, you know, you're going to be on your feet for a long time, like Carnival in Brazil. I went to Carnival in Brazil. That was so much chaos, so much mayhem. They shut down Rio de Janeiro, the city. It's like the Manhattan of Brazil. I hope my mind isn't off right now, but and I was never that great in geography. But yeah, they damn near have to shut down the city when Carnival comes through. Even the McDonald's and the banks, they're all boarded up with wood in the front of all the glass in the storefronts, and they carve out doors for you to walk into these businesses. Or you want to go into McDonald's real quick, you got to walk through this carved out piece of wood that they put up in front of the whole store, because it's that hectic. It's that wild. Like when we was walking to the stadium to actually watch the real carnival within the stadium, like with all the floats and the whole parade and everything like that, one of my boys stayed back at the hotel. Like the previous couple of days of the trip, he was like, nah, I can't even walk right now. Like this is too much. It's chaos for real. You know what I'm saying? But once again, it's just experiences, being worldly. And I've been to so many great places in the world. I think right now my motivation is for y'all to just travel, man. It's important to travel. It changes your perspective on life. It makes you look at life differently. It makes you want more. It makes you focus on things that's more important. I might go on this podcast one day and tell y'all my story about being in Amsterdam. That's a wild one. But yeah, we back. It's your boy ARP once again with the Sorry It's True podcast. We got a couple real interesting topics to jump into today. But as always, you know, I want to chop with y'all for a few before we get into our main topics of discussion. I see a couple of y'all comments too about my background pictures. It should be pretty obvious at this point, right? You could pick that out over here. Well, it's my left, which is Menace, right? Over there on the right, Boyz in the Hood. I did a blog once upon a time breaking down which one is better for me personally. Menace to Society versus Boyz in the Hood. I'll tell you what helps me create a little bit of separation for me with these two movies. Just the ending. Purely the ending. I love both endings. And I think that sticking to the message and killing the main characters like that, or most of the main characters like that, within the end, I think that's a great message that was delivered in both flicks. But let me break down something that I feel is rarely said about these two classics when it comes to comparing the ending. Who's the strongest character out of both movies? And I'll already give you a warning. That's a trick question. The strongest character to me, and the strongest moment that even complements the person being, to me, identified as the strongest character, is Trey. One of the early signs that they tried to show you is something simple. The cookout early in the movie. When they grow up, he shows up looking like he's fresh out of Express, right? Dressed all dapper and all that, clean and all that, tucked in shirt. Look at everybody else. Look at his surroundings. Now let's just fast forward to me, which is the strongest moment between both movies. I've said before on this channel the term seeing red. Let me tell you my personal definition of seeing red. Seeing red to me is a state where all of your logic, all of your emotions, everything that you would deem controllable about yourself, or the way that you would normally respond if you had a moment to think about it or be calculated or be premeditated, those things are gone when you see red. That's one of the reasons why there's a difference between how the courts will treat you with premeditated murder, right, versus spur of the moment type of shit, right? Seeing red, there's certain circumstances where people just lose control of themselves. Another example of that could be, let's say somebody hurts your mother, hurts your father, hurts your brother, hurts your sister. All logic and common sense can be tossed out the window if people are thrown into certain type of rages. And the clear example in Boyz n the Hood of seeing red is Doughboy. Trey as well, but let's go to Doughboy first. Just lost his brother. His brother was taken from him. His brother was murdered. He's holding his lifeless body and all this blood on him. He takes his body home to his mother, watches his mother go off. He ended up seeing red. Think about when he was in his car. They drive him with the top down. You know what I'm saying? They load it up. They don't give a fuck about nothing. There's almost no words being said in the car. Even when they catch up with these guys, right? At the eat outside spot. When Doughboy gets out the car and his boys wasn't fully in red. They was in ride out mode. Doughboy was in red. He wasn't paying attention to any, he didn't care. He had to snap out of it when they tell him like, yo, let's get the fuck out of here. This nigga tripping. Cops could be on the way and all that. You walking this guy down, turn your punk ass over. All of that. And even his face after he shot him, look at his eyes. Ice Cube did a great job like delivering that scene in that moment. This man's mind was gone. And he finally snapped when his boys was like, yo, get the fuck back in the car. Let's get out of here. He was seeing red. There was no logic. There was no premeditation. It was, I'm lost in this moment. Trey kind of had that moment, and in that car, and almost no words are being said. You got the peer pressure element. You got the fact that my best friend was just taken from me. I done disobeyed my father. That ain't really like me. I'm out here in the night. We already on the road. I don't even know if we're going to cross paths with these people. You know what type of strength it took for Trey in that moment after he lost his best friend and he's with his other guys and they're going for some type of retaliation to stop that shit and say, I need to get the fuck out of this car. That is the strongest moment of the entire movie. That is the strongest moment between both movies. I don't think a lot of us could have done that. Get out that car. It's too emotional of a moment. And even though Trey ain't fully cut like that, he's not cut like Doughboy, he's still seeing red to a degree. But he had his snap out of it moment before they even got to these dudes. Doughboy had his snap out of it moment by the time it was like, oh shit, I got to get back in this car and get the fuck up out of here before the cops get here. Think about it. That takes strength. So that depiction for me at the end with Trey, and then of course they showed Doughboy drifting off where it's just like, nah, a couple weeks later he died as well. It's such an impactful ending, you know, and then him and his girl go off to Morehouse and Spelman. The message is dope. The message is real, real powerful. I think the ending of Boyz n the Hood trumps the ending of Menace to Society. Of course, both of them have very, very powerful messages. But if you got to pick, you know, I take moments like that and say, this is the strongest moment. This is the strongest imagery right here. This ending is more powerful. Like that starts to create the separation for me with movies like this.
So yeah, I mean, I will battle him. I reverse punches. Wait, you're a Claymore? I'm Achilles. I'm more clay. I'm not.
second option. I ain't asked for you, Holmes. My other op can't travel. He ain't asked to be home. He got a C3POs. Now it's Attack of the Clones. What? What? He gonna fucking die! Close this shit! Close this shit!
Purchase your ticket to be in the building or catch it live on pay-per-view stream.
It's finally going down. A long-awaited grudge match. There's not too many real grudge matches left in the battle rap culture. But yeah, Bigg K versus A-Ward, November 19th, going down in Atlanta. Get your tickets and your pre-sale live pay-per-view at rarebreedent.com. We didn't play with this one. Knowing that this is a grudge match, you're not getting no 2-minute rounds. None of that. All right. We had to pay the top dollar to make sure that these two guys was getting in there and going to war. Bigg K was paid handsomely. A-Ward was paid handsomely. You know, if you end up getting 3-4-minute rounds, don't be surprised. Okay. We put the contracts in place to do this the right way. Make sure that these guys have the room to get everything off their chests. I feel like when it comes to Bigg K, he's got 2 main grudge matches out there, Av and A-Ward. The A-Ward one is wild because I feel like Bigg K and Av, it's a battle that, you know, it's because of the V8 thing, you know, and obviously they have some personal history of coming up in the game and all that type of stuff. And I'm pretty sure if they ever cross paths on stage, we're going to hear all about it. But when it comes to Bigg K and A-Ward, I don't know where and when it started. Maybe we'll hear some of that during the rollout and some of these guys' interviews. Maybe we'll hear it when the battle is going down in these guys' rounds. Who knows? Maybe these two guys will just go crazy in their thirds and just hash all of this shit out and just let all of us know what's going on and why they totally dislike each other. I don't know. But it's a real grudge. I've had conversations with both of them off camera, and this ain't no promotional thing that I'm telling y'all right now. Like, there really is a disliking between these two guys. I'm definitely on Bigg K's side. You know, A was a little bit more reserved. He was a little bit more cool when I had the conversation with him about Bigg K in the past. I don't think he's really a fan of Bigg K as far as like as a person. But Bigg K was just flat out like, yo, fuck, like, I don't know what it is, but he really dislikes A-Ward. Once again, there's not too many real grudge matches left. We tend to cook them up real quick online these days, a tweet or an interview, a call out or whatever. And then as a culture, we create a grudge match. And it's still dope. You know, a battle's a battle. But this is a real grudge match, you know. And it was only right that we bring back closure too for a matchup like this. And there's some other closure battles that will be announced on this card. Stay tuned. The trailers will continue to drop on the channel. But yeah, go to rarebreedent.com, get your tickets to be in the building or get your pre-sale live pay-per-view. It's going down November 19th in Atlanta. This card is about to be one of them ones. Ye continues to be in the headlines. Very controversial moment right now for this man in his career, for what he represents, for what he stands for. He's got a lot going on. Situations at a family base with his children. I believe I saw headlines that Balenciaga just dropped him. He wore the White Lives Matter t-shirt recently. He made these wild George Floyd statements on Drink Champs recently. That whole interview had a lot of anti-Semitic references in it, whether you're with him or you're against him, whether you are backing him or you're not, whether you believe some of the stuff that he's attempting to tackle, or whether you feel like, man, Ye is just being Ye, he's wilding out, he's actually doing more harm than he is good. Whatever side of the fence you stand on. And we could talk about NORE real quick before I get into my main point of this topic. Do y'all feel like he should or he shouldn't have backtracked with that interview and his apology and then the interview eventually coming down? Let me say this. First and foremost, when everybody say, yo, NORE took the interview down, NORE took the interview down, I seen Wack coming at NORE like, yo, you should have stood on it and this and that. I don't know the whole business structure over there, but I'm just going to take a guess. NORE is not the full decision maker when it comes to a video being put up or being taken down. Is he the lead face? Does he maybe own the brand and the name Drink Champs that he created or whatever? I believe so. But the whole backing of Revolt and the people that are attached to the show, why do people speak as if it's all Nori. As if, for example, like it's me here on the RBE channel. Like nobody can tell me to put up a video or to take a video down, what to say, what not to say. There's no company that I'm affiliated with other than Rarebit Entertainment, the company that I own. There's no Revolt above me. There's no other owners or stockholders or people that are invested in Rarebit Entertainment with that decision-making power higher than myself. Why do people speak as if Nori makes those full decisions on his own? He doesn't. Does he own Revolt? Like I don't get that part. Here's the second point that I want to make about Nori. I want to stand in the middle on it because I feel like it's real easy to say, yo, Nori, you should have stood on that. You should have stood on that. And I get it. I get that point. You called him up there. Maybe it was for the views. Maybe it's because you knew the moment that he was in. Or maybe genuinely you wanted to give your friend a platform to speak on because he's getting kind of blackballed from all these other media outlets and platforms to speak on. Whatever the case may be, as far as Nori's intentions of getting Kanye up there or Revolt's intentions of getting Kanye up there. On one side of the fence, I think it's easy to see and believe that Nori does fuck with Kanye. Nori is supportive of Kanye. But there's always going to be a limit. There has to be a limit. There's a limit in everything in life. I remember I did a blog one time talking about a person's principles or morals. How much money can I pay you to change your sexuality? Some people will say, you could put $1 trillion on the table and I won't do it. There's limits. There's limits. And Nori has to have a limit as well, whether it's his interview that's tied to it, his brand that's tied to it, his name solely that's tied to it, his money, his livelihood that's tied to it. They just won an award. And I know people might water that down saying it's only a BET award. But when you get into those type of spaces and you're winning these type of awards, there's always going to be a level of politics that come into play. But I'm just trying to say to y'all that there's two sides to it. There's gray area there. You know what I'm saying? He could genuinely be supportive of Ye, and I don't know that, but he could be, possibly. But at the same time, there still has to be limits. Like, we can't do that on my platform, or you can't put me in that position where it could affect my children or me or my brand going forward. We can't do that, Kanye. Maybe middle grounds there would have been to edit that type of stuff, but maybe they didn't even think that it was going to have that type of blowback on them. And maybe they felt like, all right, you saying these things, I'm in an interview trying to give a little bit of pushback at times and trying to have a little bit of separation. If they're going to be mad at this, they're just going to be mad at Kanye. No, that's not what happens, because there's also this effort that's going on, as we're seeing, of an attempt to shut his voice down. You know, other platforms are not rocking with him right now. It is a form of blackballing, whether directly or indirectly. Let's start this off by talking about the skit that Chappelle did. And you see me on my show, I do a lot of references to try to make y'all realize the point that I'm making. I'll jump to references in real life, my own life, music, movies, comedy, whatever, just to get y'all to understand where we're going with this. Remember the joint that Chappelle did? He was like, he's in the midst of the Chappelle show, and they have like this department. It's kind of like HR. And he said there was this girl that was heading up the department that called him in for a quick meeting and told him that he can't say the F word. Now, I don't mean fuck, you know, that sexuality based word. Thought comes to his mind like, wait a minute, doubles back, walks back up to her and asks her the question, why is it that I could say the word nigga with impunity, but I can't use the word? That becomes an issue. Her answer to him is, you can't use that word because you're not a homosexual. His response to her, genius. But I'm not a nigga either. Now that we brought back that reference, the gem that Ye dropped in the Drink Champs interview. Did you see the piece where he was talking about the way that we rap our lyrics? I'ma kill this nigga. I'ma kill this nigga. I'ma kill this nigga. I'ma fuck your bitch. I'ma fuck your bitch. I'ma fuck your bitch. That shit is extremely destructive to the Black culture. Destruction by murder, destruction by separation, destruction by tearing down our women. That's what we promote. That's what we rap and sing about. That's what we put out there. That's what we do millions of views off of. That's the streams and the albums that sell. And the point that he's making is that there's these big people or corporations or companies that have ownership of all this content underneath it that comes out. And they don't stop those messages. In fact, they support it, they promote it, and they make money off of it. Billions of dollars off of it. That was a gem that I feel like that was really, really missed in that Drink Champs interview. Let's align the two. Let's align the anti-Semitic stuff that he was saying versus I'ma kill this nigga, I'ma kill this nigga, I'ma kill this nigga, right? Why are they not equal? Why can this go out? I'ma kill this nigga, but this stuff can't go out. Why is there a reaction to this side? This side is just, we're numb to it. We make millions and billions of dollars. Those interviews are not coming down. Let me now stand on both sides once again and tell you why I believe something like that is never going to have an issue. It's never going to be compared to that anti-Semitic stuff that Kanye was saying that had a panic attack. That was like, no, we're pulling this. He's under fire now. The difference is we're the ones that's saying it. You ever see people that aren't black present the question, I can't say the word nigga, but how come y'all can say it all day long to each other? Right? You see how people create that question? Whether you believe it should or it shouldn't, that becomes the justification. If I'm the owner of this major corporation up here and I'm somewhere in the shadows, let's say Revolt, right? And I don't even know if there's something above Revolt that owns Revolt. I don't know. But let's say I'm the owner of Revolt, somewhere tucked away. You never see my face. I'm some billionaire that could sit next to you on a train and you wouldn't even recognize me. You wouldn't know me from a hole in the wall, right? Underneath me, you got all these different layers. Right? Somewhere underneath Revolt, for example, you have Drink Champs. Let's say the interview down here at the bottom is talking about all this destruction towards black culture. And me at the top, let's say I'm a white guy that owns this whole thing. If the person that's interviewing is black and they're talking about black destruction, they're promoting it, even though I'm not of your culture and I'm letting this content go out. One of the reasons that I think Kanye is under fire and that he missed in the grand scheme of things, why he's going to be attacked for something like that, because the black culture is what's promoting the black destruction. I think that's a great point that he was making. That's definitely a gem that he was dropping right there. But unfortunately, there's an escape route to it. And obviously, that's one of the main reasons why he caught all this backlash. All right, let's chop this because this is funny to me. Shout out to Ice Spice. She's got a big single out there. She's already in controversy. I heard that she possibly has a sex tape out there. There's the discussion of the Drake co-sign and did Drake stop following her, after reaching out to her in her DMs and all this type of little controversy already around this girl. But that's even part of people's success these days. The controversy damn near boosts your profile. So all that stuff that we're hearing about her is going to do nothing but help her. And then she's got this big single out there. So shout out to her. And it's a dope song. You know what I'm saying? I hear all y'all girls out there following that. It's all good. What is an industry plant to y'all? First definition that I see from people is basically somebody that y'all feel blows up overnight. Even though I hear that, she was on the scene for like a year before she really cracked through. But still, it just feels like an overnight sensation. But that same person kind of has, ties within the industry. Maybe their father or their uncle is a record executive or something like that. The second definition is pretty different. It's really somebody that's placed in a certain spot by people above them to masquerade as something that they're not. An example of that could be Donnie Brasco, right? Really was an FBI agent, but he was placed in, the street by the FBI. He was an informant. So when y'all ask if Ice Spice is an industry plant, those are the two definitions for the most part you got to go with. All right. I don't know the girl's career, inside out like that. But come on, like I think we do too much. Like there are overnight sensations. There are people that seem to catch fire at times. And once again, she has a hot single. That happens with a lot of people. There's overnight sensations a mile a minute. You can have a hot song. You could blow up overnight. You can get all these followers. You can go to a couple of award shows and tomorrow you could be gone. You could never even have a lead up single or even a lead up second attempt at an album. That happens. They say the sophomore jinx for a reason. But it's like, come on. Like these pieces are organic, at least from the outside looking in. You got the single, you got the look, you got other celebrities co-signing or reaching out to you or putting you even further in the public. I mean, of all people, Drake, they say he has the magic touch, right? They say if he gets next to you, if he says your name, if he promotes you, if he does a song with you, whatever the case may be, you're through the roof. Even Lil Durk said that about Drake. He was like, man, that shit I did with Drake, man, that took me up a level, changed my price, my booking prices, my shows, all that type of stuff. And that's what we're seeing with her. The controversy, Drake comes out and you have this public thing with him where it's just like, oh, he DM'd me. Look how powerful Drake is. Drake DM'd me and shouted out my new song. That becomes headlines. You know what I'm saying? And then we could talk about the look. She got the look. She got today's look at that. You know what I'm saying? Like God forbid you're a woman that comes out and you ain't twerking. We're gonna see it from Cardi B. I mean, she used to be a stripper. We're gonna see it from Meg Thee Stallion. All the new wave of these women is on that type of shit. And then on top of that, the sound, the drill sound, the New York drill sound at that, coming out of the Bronx. Like, why does this have to be an industry plant? I don't get it. I don't get it. And when I see headlines like this, it makes me curious because I do a lot of research on conspiracy theory type of stuff. I do get interested in things like World Banks and Bilderberg and Freemasonry and all that type of stuff. But it's like, geez, the girl comes up, she has a nice song that pops. She's got these different cosigns. She's got controversy around her. She's got the sound. She's twerking her ass all over the fucking place. This is damn near the perfect formula to get popping in today's rap scene as a female rapper, whether you like it or not. And here's another reason why, for me personally, I took interest to like headlines like this. People never see the work. You got a lot of people that don't even care about the work that you put in. They really just see the most visible portion of you. They see you when you crack through. They see you when it's popping. That's when everybody turns their eyes. Nobody's paying attention to you when you're grinding. Nobody's paying attention to you when you're Ice Spice and you're broke in the projects. They don't care about you. Everybody turns their head when you finally crack through, when everybody's talking about you, when you're a cool topic, when you're in the in crowd, and when you're at the award shows. And they either don't pay attention to that grind, don't care about that grind, or don't know about that grind. They call that ignorant. You know, the state of not knowing something. It's like people just jump out of the window with some of the stuff because it sounds cool. Like that's kind of like a more current thing to label somebody, an industry plant, right? Oh, this person is an industry plant because they popped overnight, or they got some cosign, and I don't understand how they got there so fast. They got there by working, or they was in the right place at the right time. That still happens in this world. Before y'all came up with these clever internet terms of industry plant and tried to make that popular, there's always going to be plants. For example, the FBI does it. We gave the example of Donnie Brasco. There's always going to be plants, but don't just label people with that because it's popular on the internet. Y'all do that shit all the fucking time. Did you go do your research? Did you figure out how long this person grinded? Don't be that person. I seen shit like that about me on the internet before. And I saw like a blogger or two do that. And it was like the first and the last time I paid attention to them. I was just like, I saw somebody literally say like I was like a devil worshiper or something like that. And that's how, and it's just like, you have no clue of the amount of work that some of these people put in. I could use myself as an example. The amount of work that I put in since a teenager to progressively move up the ladder. And I know for a fact, nobody that knows me from the internet or knows me from battle rap or knows me from RBE would know about my whole history of the work that I put in. You would have to be in my core immediate circle to know what I've been doing since I was 18, 19 years old. Come on with the internet shit, man. All this industry plant shit. And I don't know Ice Spice from a hole in the wall. I found out about her from the single like everybody else. Just check yourself, man. Don't be a person calling somebody an industry plant just because it's the first time you found out about them and you feel like they blew up quick and they're making a lot of noise quickly or getting a lot of success quickly. That's damn near hater vibes. We all been seeing all these headlines of 50 and his son Marquise going back and forth. The whole thing about Marquise having the debate with Choke No Joke about $6,700 a month not being enough money. But recently what I just saw is the Game jumped into it. Shout out to the Game. I fuck with the Game. I always loved his music, always loved his albums. But we see him jump into the mix, putting up like pictures trolling 50. A picture of 50 and his son, you know, and a comment about that, you know, the recent stuff that's going back and forth between 50 and Marquise. And they put up a picture of him and his son. The history of these two guys, we've seen it all unfold over 10, 15 years, it feels now at this point. You know, it's like Game comes up on the G Unit. I'm not saying that he wasn't doing anything before G Unit, but he comes up on the G Unit, puts out that classic first album. Along the way, they have their fallout. You know, there's the situation at Hot 97. People got shot in the mix of it. Go through all of that type of stuff. They get to a point where they land up in the same club at the same time. And they come towards each other and they shake hands. And the beef is kind of deaded at that moment. This is face to face, us shaking hands. We didn't said all this stuff on the internet, threaten each other, put each other down, took shots at each other. And we saw each other face to face and we shook hands. After that, for a time, this person over here and that person over here, when you hear them speak on the opposite side, there's decent things that are being said. You know, there's cordial things that are being said. How did we get back to this point again? These two guys, man, I swear it's like a lifelong thing. But here's the main question that I have. we always have this code of no women, no children. You see a lot of men carry that code. And if not for nothing else, at least it's a street code, a very popular street code that's often said, no women, no children, right? Definitely no children. Think about the average gangster that says, yeah, I'll give you a pass if you with your kids. Seen you with your kids, so you owe me one. That was a Meek lyric. It's given a pass when the kids is there or involved. Scarface, classic scene. About to blow up the car. It's women and children in the car. Scarface was like, nah, I can't do this shit. That's not the code. We can't do that. We just want the main target, the main situation, the other gangster. Gangsters killing gangsters. You can't cry too hard over that because it's a lifestyle that both people are choosing. I'm choosing to be a street nigga. I'm choosing to be a gangbanger. Death, jail, that's what comes with these type of choices, right? So people's not going to cry too much over that. But the children and the women are considered innocent. So here's why I tie this all in to bring about my question. Are children off limits no matter what? And the no matter what comes from the fact that 50 Cent damn near, if not, disowned his son, right? 50 Cent's son is basically olive branching his father at this point. I'd trade this amount of money or child support for my father to be there, and let's have a face-to-face. It feels like he's kind of doubling back and trying to reach out and find a way where he can get in front of 50 and have some type of conversation, or maybe get back on his good side, or see if they can have some type of relationship. And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not shooting that down. I'm not saying that Marquise would be wrong for that. At the end of the day, I'd like to see every father and every son have a relationship, right? But it seems that 50 is kind of past it, at least right now. It seems that he's past it. He says things in interviews like, how long can you try to love something that doesn't love you back? His son was just getting harassed on the internet for his statements over the $6,700 a month. 50 joined in and trolled him. 50 is showing the world how he feels about his son. Once again, that doesn't mean that shouldn't or can't change. At the end of the day, that's your son. If them two come back around together, I wouldn't be shocked at all. Son and father. But the question becomes, even if 50 disowned his own son, does the rule still apply from Game's perspective? I got this long running beef with this guy. We back at it again. We're damn near tired of the 50 in the Game back and forth. We've been watching it for so long. Who still is enjoying it? Like, oh, yo, you see the new shot that Game took at 50 or 50 on his interview talk about Game? We don't care about it anymore. It's damn near getting lame. And I'm not saying that Game is lame for it. I'm not saying that 50 is lame for it. I'm saying overall in the public for this to continue with these type of shots. Like, I really wrote this song. No, I really wrote this song. It's been 10, 15, maybe longer than that years. It's getting lame at this point. But when kids get involved, and that's why I'm asking the question, is that really overstepping it as far as these type of shots that's being taken? Does that make it like an on-site situation again? Like, we're just tired of it. And yeah, I'm involved in some of that stuff that people would call out as well. I've seen that. And that's why I want to be fair, because there could be things that's happening that maybe us as the public, we're not aware about. Maybe there's something where Game is feeling, yo, 50 is blocking his money. Or he did this to me behind the scenes, or he blackballed this over here for me and took food off my plate, and the public just doesn't know about it. So that's why I'll be taking shots. You never know. There'd be stuff like that happens. I want to be fair, because I've been in situations like that. I might jump out on camera and start saying some things towards certain people, and people be like, why? I'm like, you don't know. You don't realize what these people continue to do. So there could be that element. But if that's not there, pure lame. I wish these two guys would just quit at this point. I want to be shocked at this one, but I can't. And that's a bad thing. Imagine seeing that there's some type of beef between whatever crews or whatever people, and you go get your Opps tombstone from a graveyard and you bring it to your block and you just dump it on the street. Imagine me being numb to something like that. Like, yeah, motherfuckers is doing that today. Is that where we're at? Somebody could be numb to that shit. I mean, we've already seen people pissing on people's graveyards and tombstones, attempts to dig people's bodies up and all types of. And I do believe that drill music is a big part of it. You know, the whole smoking each other's packs and all that type of stuff. The influence of our youth as far as today's gangbanging, or the amount of things that people are willing to do to disrespect their ops today, damn, it's heightened. And heightened probably ain't even a good word. I need something bigger than heightened to really express what today's gangbanging is like as far as limits. I mean, it's not enough to kill your op or to see your op die. You got to talk about it. You got to smoke him in a million songs now. You got to constantly, tarnish his name and hurt his family. The person's not even here anymore. You won, right? You up the score. You up the count. You won. He's gone. Of course, when I was a teenager, you had to worry about all the same shit: getting killed, getting shot, getting hurt, getting jumped. There was gangs around, all types of shit. I mean, one thing that was always on my mind was all the slashings that was going on by the time I was in like my later teens in high school, because the Bloods came to New York, and that was like one of the initiations for them, slashing random people and shit. So you would see that in the newspapers all the time. This person on a train, or this person down the block, or this person at school got slashed, face got a $150 and all that. You don't even really hear people say that term anymore, $150. It was popular back then because that was what was going on, especially in New York. That was their initiation. And like Cali, I grew up hearing that they was getting jumped into their gangs. In New York, slashings. And even outside of the Bloods and gangs, slashings was always something that was going on. You might hear about the pretty girl in school that got her face slashed or something like that. Wow. And of course, it was real popular in jail, right? The whole $150 and all that, getting sliced and getting cut. But look at some of these wild differences in the eras. Imagine being a mother or a father in the 80s or the 90s, or maybe even some of the 2000s. Where it's like, obviously, I don't want to lose my son or my daughter, period, let alone to violence. But for the families that lost children back then, you lost a child, you grieved, you mourned. Hopefully, you were able to get past it to some degree. Hopefully. Today, you have to hear about your deceased child constantly being disrespected. And past that, imagine having to make a decision. Should we cremate him? Or should we bury him? Imagine being a mother or father and you're burying your child and you have to consider that. Maybe we shouldn't bury him because the fact that he was in a gang means that his tombstone might end up on our porch. We might literally step outside one day and see somebody done put his tombstone at the bottom of our stoop. Like, imagine having to think about that shit. Y'all knew era gangsters is different. I know it could be a lack of guidance coming up. I know there's the music influence. I know it could be the internet that plays a part as well. Social media plays a part as well. The bragging, the boasting, the clout chasing, the points that you get for disrespecting your rivals. There's all these different elements. I can go down a list further, but I really don't know what else to say. It's like, y'all take tombstones to further the disrespect after allegedly killing somebody? Yeah, I'm speechless. And quick question coming off of the last topic. Sarcasm implied. Y'all still gangbang on the internet? Y'all still be posting y'all affiliations and whatnot on social media? I'm curious. How much do y'all need to see? Whether it's these RICOs, whether it's these different charges, whether it's how a DA or a state or a prosecution could bring about all these different charges based on your social media. The need for clout, attention, or to be able to claim and have everybody know what you got going on. Let me ask y'all this question. When people get jammed up and you then post your affiliations to them as a gang member, is that a form of snitching? How do y'all classify that? For example, if I'm a Fruittown Pyru and somebody from my set gets arrested, and I post on my social media or on my Instagram, free the big homie, pound Pyru, pound Fruittown or whatever, is that snitching? I've seen that on social media so many times. I've seen that with Casanova. Casanova got locked up, turned himself in. I've seen people post pictures that they have with him and they post like hashtags or captions like, free the big ape or, stuff like that, where it's just like you're showing the affiliation as a gang member when he possibly needs to go to court and fight that he's not a gang member. What do y'all feel about that? This generation, they feel like it's not valid if it's not posted. Not even just with gangbanging. I could give you a different example on that too. Think about like if somebody passes away I want to be respectful here because you can never tell somebody how to mourn. But I'm just telling y'all about me personally. It was always odd to me to see people mourn like that on social media. Let's say, for example, your father passed away 2 hours ago. Somebody typing some long paragraph on Instagram, I just can't fathom that if it was me. There is no social media. There is no Twitter. There is no Instagram. There is no Twitch. There is no YouTube. There is no Facebook. There is no nothing if I'm going through a situation like that. For those that know me from battle rap, let me give a battle rap example. Rest in peace to Tech 9. I'm similar to Jay Black in that respect. Tech 9 passed away. Jay Black was close to him. We didn't hear nothing from Jay Black. People were all over social media. Yo, where's Jay Black? What's up with Jay Black? People even started coming at him for other stuff that he didn't even deserve. Just talking sideways about him. He finally popped up in a video and he explained a couple things. And he said, I'm going to paraphrase a little bit, like, I'm not here to block. I'm not here to answer any questions right now. I'm going through my mourning. Y'all want my presence to be on the internet? And I'm mourning? What's wrong with y'all? What type people are y'all? And that's why sometimes for me personally, I be questioning when I see that shit. Like, how much can you mourn if you're in the middle of dealing with something that's supposed to be traumatic or extremely, extremely impactful to your emotions? I can't sit there crying my eyes out while I'm typing along passes on IG. So I feel like the people that do genuinely mourn like that, I'm being fair and I want to be respectful once again. The people that do genuinely mourn like that, it's the times. It's because social media is a part of everything. How many more scenarios do y'all need to see of people getting locked up, getting indicted, getting charges put on them from affiliations or from tweets or from posts? How much more do y'all need to see? It's like a losing battle with me saying this. Because I know this generation, once again, is so caught up in social media that it's not valid if it's not posted. I don't have it if I can't show it. It didn't happen if I didn't say it. I'm not affiliated to this person, or I don't know this person unless I don't have a picture with them that I could show you. The person's in the middle of charges coming down on them, and you posting some gang banging affiliation with them. I don't get it. I don't understand it. Once again, y'all are cut different. All right, I'm going to get up out of here. I appreciate everybody rocking out for this episode 7 of the Sorry It's True podcast. Keep your eyes on the channel and stay subscribed for more releases for the November 19th Closure 2 event going down in Atlanta. Also, be in the building this Saturday, October 29th at the Oxygen Bar in Atlanta. Blood, Sweat, and Tears 7 is going down. You can also purchase your VOD to see these battles if you're not going to be live in the building. Both your tickets and your VOD available at rarebreedent.com. So we got those battles on the way. We got November 19th right around the corner. And of course, the Sorry It's True podcast will continue to release out very frequent content. So once again, stay subscribed here to the RBE channel. It's your boy ARP. Appreciate y'all once again. I'm out of here.
So yeah, I mean, I will battle him. I reverse punches. Wait, you're a Claymore. I'm Achilles. I'm more clay. I'm
Step back from the throne. You less than popping second option. I ain't asked for you, Holmes. My other op can't travel. He ain't asked to be home. He got a C3POs. Now it's Attack of the Clones. What? What? He gonna fucking die. Close this shit. Close this shit.
Purchase your ticket to be in the building or catch it live on pay-per-view stream.